Good evening, hello and welcome to Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. We're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime studio. And now we have the full details of the composition, the broad contours of the Modi government 3.0, the cabinet and the entire council of ministers that is now out there in the public domain. Now, while at the top, there is no change in the top four, that is the top four ministers who are all part of the Cabinet Committee on Security, whether it is Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, Nirmala Sitharaman, Dr. Jaishankar, they retain their jobs in the top four ministries. Some notable additions who have got plum portfolios. Shivraj Singh Chouhan has got the meaty portfolio of agriculture and rural development. Manohar, another former chief minister, he's got the portfolios of power and urban development and housing. Kiren Rijiju has also got a leg up with parliamentary affairs, and of course he's also the Minister for Minority Affairs. As far as the allies are concerned, most of them have landed with plum portfolios, except perhaps the Shiv Sena Shinde faction. But the opposition is saying that, look, all of this is just old wine in an old bottle. Will the Modi 3.0 Council of Ministers be effective in dealing with the pressing challenges of the country, given the mandate that was returned by the people of this country, the message that was there in that mandate? This whole overarching meta theme in this cabinet selection, in this choice of portfolios, has been one of continuity. Will that mean business as usual, or will they heed the message of this mandate? And if that means taking corrective action, then will corrective action be taken? But first, the story, and then we'll bring you the highlights of what the big names are in the Modi Cabinet 3.0. All right, so let's bring you up to speed with who's got what portfolio, which ministry. No changes at the top, like I said at the top of the show. Amit Shah retains the Home Ministry as well as the Ministry for Cooperation. Rajnath Singh continues to retain the Defence Ministry. Dr. S. Jaishankar will continue to be the External Affairs Minister of the country. In fact, he'll be going with the Prime Minister for the G7 that's coming up later this week in Italy. Nirmala Sitharaman continues to be the Minister for Finance as well as Corporate Affairs. Nitin Gadkari retains the Road Transport and Highways Ministry. Ashwini Vaishnav has retained the Railway Ministry, the IT Ministry, and he's got the new Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Shivraj Singh Chouhan, former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, has got the Agriculture Ministry and Rural Development. Manohar, another former Chief Minister of Haryana, he's got two ministries, Power as well as Housing and Urban Development. JP Nadda has got the high-profile Ministry of Health because he's the BJP president. His term gets over by the end of this month. He was also the health minister, remember, in Modi 1.0. So he comes back into the cabinet with that same portfolio. Kiren Rijiju's also got a leg up. He is Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, and given the size of the opposition in the new parliament, this is going to be an important portfolio. He also is the Minority Affairs Minister of the Modi government, Modi 3.0. So that is as far as the BJP is concerned. As far as its allies are concerned, remember there are 11 ministers from allies. So the big ones, Rammohan Naidu is the cabinet minister from the TDP. He gets civil aviation. TDP, last time they were in government with the BJP, also had civil aviation. H.D. Kumaraswamy, another former chief minister of Karnataka from the JDS, he gets steel as well as heavy industries. Lalan Singh of the JDU, considered very close to Nitish Kumar, he gets the cabinet ministryship of Panchayati Raj and Fisheries. Jitan Manjhi, also former chief minister of Bihar from the Ham party, he's the minister for micro, small and medium enterprises. Chirag Paswan, the chief of the LJP, gets the same portfolio that his late father Ramvilas Paswan used to have, that of food processing. Jayant Chaudhary from the RLD. He has two MPs in this new Lok Sabha. He, of course, is now the MOS for skill development and entrepreneurship. So, what is the big message as far as the Modi Sarkar 3.0 is concerned? Who has got what? And what is the message that's being sent across, especially after this mandate? Aman Sharma, our political editor and national affairs editor, is now joining us. So, Aman, while on the one hand, the government seems keen to portray the image that this is continuity, this is business as usual, the opposition is saying this is old wine in an old bottle.
Well, I think, Zaka, the realities of coalition politics, running a coalition government also requires a level of certainty and continuity. So I think Mr. Modi is trying to send out that message. The top four ministries on the Raisina Hill, Home, Finance, Defence and External Affairs, all four ministers remaining the same, and these four ministries are very, very crucial to take India's growth journey, economy journey ahead towards becoming the third largest economy. So I think no layer surprises there. We have been speaking about it since yesterday that the top four will remain unchanged. That was also very visible yesterday from the forecourt of the Rashtrapati Bhavan when we had the top four ministers sitting in the front row. Nirmala Sitharaman being the senior most woman minister in the cabinet, also continuing in the finance ministry. So a key post there. I think what is very interesting to me is the two, I would say, standout performers who have been rewarded in a big way. Ashwini Vaishnav getting 3 ministries. He's the only minister in the entire list who has 3 ministries to himself, 3 full independent ministries. He already had railways and IT, but now he's also been given the important charge of the INB ministry, very important area for the Modi government to get the message across. So INB ministry, railways and IT, Ashwini Vaishnav being rewarded for his good work in Modi 2.0, being given 3 ministries. Also, I think the standout performer here, Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia, moving from civil aviation to the important area of Ministry of Communications. We will see a complete 5G rollout in the country in the coming years, and this is a big project of the Modi government. He'll be in charge of that, as well as Ministry of Donor. The other two, I would say, the standout performers, the remarkable story, Shivraj Singh Chouhan, getting the entire rural sector ministries to one minister, rural development as well as agriculture. So, Zaka, in the past, we have seen in Modi 2.0, agriculture and rural development were with different ministers. Now, the Modi government has combined both these ministries under one minister, Shivraj Singh Chouhan. The mega decision taken by the cabinet today to build 3 crore more houses in rural India will be something that will be pioneered now by Shivraj Singh Chouhan as the rural development minister. As we speak, he's already calling for a meeting of the secretaries of both of his ministries to hit the ground running. And also Manohar Lal Khattar, I would say, somebody who was removed as a Haryana CM a few months back, one from Karnal, and now being given the 2 key ministries of housing and urban affairs and the Ministry of Power. Kumaraswamy, of course, one of the allies, I think, has got really heavyweight ministries in heavy industries and steel. Piyush Goyal, another performer, continuing in the Ministry of Commerce. Dharmendra Pradhan in the Ministry of Education. A lot of continuity, but I think the standout performers in the last government have been rewarded in a big way by Mr. Modi, and to take the journey ahead, to take the India's economy story ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Aman Sharma, for joining us and putting that into perspective for our viewers. So the message of continuity, certainly reward for the performers, certainly coming from the Prime Minister. But let's open this up to our political guest. Tuhin Sinha is National Spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Sharma Mohammed, National Spokesperson of the Congress Party. Brijmohan Srivastav is National Spokesperson of the Ajit Pawar faction of the NCP. K. Patabi Ram is National Spokesperson of the TDP. And Rahul Verma will be joining us, Senior Fellow with the Centre for Policy Research. Tuhin Sinha, let me start with you. So, no major changes in the top 4. All top 4 CCS ministers keep their jobs. Amit Shah, Rajnath Singh, Dr. Jaishankar and Nirmala Sitharaman. Of course, Shivraj Singh Chouhan has got agriculture and rural development. Mr. Khattar has got power and urban housing affairs, etc. So, the message of continuity, the opposition is saying there's nothing new in this. You've not listened to the people of India. You've not listened to the mandate where you've gone from 303 to 240. You should make amends. You've not made any amends.
Well, good evening, Zaka. Good evening, everybody. The message is clear. Continuity, consistency, certainty, born out of conviction and a vision for the next 10 years. So I think, we don't need to make hasty changes. If all of the top 4 ministers have been brilliant performers, and mind you, India has been the fastest growing large economy for 3 years in a row, and the projected GDP growth for the next few years continues to be in the vicinity of 7%. When it comes to defense minister, you are aware of the massive transformation in the defense ministry. We are now one of the key exporters, and institutions like HAL, which Rahul Gandhi denigrated ad nauseum, are one of the best performers. So why do we need to make the changes? But at the same time, there are some very interesting, new allocations. Shivraj Singh Chouhan ji has been given the entire rural development and agriculture ministry. Kiran Rijiju has been given parliamentary affairs. So I think, it's a very, very clever mix. It's a very adroit mix. And, the opposition obviously is frustrated. One, because, they kept believing that the allies will not come on board. And number two, because they realized that the wealth of experience that these ministers carry in a cumulative sense is reason enough to believe that we will continue to gallop ahead with unprecedented speed towards the larger developmental goals of the country. And the opposition should finally, look forward, or should concentrate on 2029 now.
Dr. Shama Mohammed, the message that is going from the Prime Minister is those people who have done well in the previous ministry are being rewarded. He believes in this team. He believes in continuity of this team. And that is what, the markets, for example, are looking for. When the results came, they tanked 6%, but now they've climbed back up. And I suspect it will continue to go back up because of the performance of the ministers, and the ones who are good have been retained. So that's the message, a message of continuity, a message of business as usual, a message that, look, the India story under Narendra Modi 1.0 and 2.0 will continue in 3.0.
Hi, Zaka. First and foremost, it cannot be Modi 3. They got 240, not 303. So it should be NDA 3. Let's change the name. You're all so stuck up with Narendra Modi, but I see this Modi 3 again. So let's make it NDA. You should change it on your screen, NDA 3. Number two, Mr. Modi cannot, I believe, will not be able to run a coalition government, because when he was the chief minister of Gujarat, it was majority all the time he was there. And last two governments in NDA 2014 to 19 and 19 to 24 also a majority government. So he has no clue how to run a coalition government. Number three is that he says they have been rewarded. Why was Ashwini Vaishnav rewarded for the train accidents in Odisha and Bihar? I would like to know that. What is Nirmala Sitharaman rewarded for? For giving 80 crore people free rations out of 140 crore. He says we are reaching the third largest economy. Then why are you giving free ration to 80 crore people? So, what I look at it is that there will be issues. For example, let's not forget the TDP in 2019, when they left this coalition, the BJP tried to break them. They took 4 members of parliament in the Rajya Sabha and wanted to break the party there. So TDP knows what they are in for. I hope they do know it. And let's look at also JDU was the major partner in Bihar. They were made the minor one by the BJP fielding LGP candidates in all the seats of JDU so that they could cut them to half. So JDU also knows that. And NCP, for example, did not take the ministry they were given. Praful Patel clearly said that we were looking at a cabinet post and MOS is down. Let me finish. MOS is downgrading me. Suresh Gopi, the first person to win, a BJP leader to win from Kerala, was told to be given a cabinet berth, but he was given MOS and he says, I don't want it. I'm just telling you what all are the issues. Now, Bittu being given a seat, being given a cabinet post, without winning the seat. But if you look at the ministry, there is a population which is 15% in this country. They have no representation anywhere. So you keep saying sabke saath sabka vikas, but why are there no Muslims anywhere in the cabinet or elsewhere? So that is very
all of these are questions that I will put to the spokespersons of the TDP. The NCP Ajit Pawar faction spokesperson is also here. I've been trying to ask TDP as well as JDU spokespersons for the last 4 or 5 days. What is your pound of flesh? What will you settle for? In the last 4 or 5 days, we've not seen any kind of major halchal or ulat-pulat as far as government formation is concerned. The TDP and the JDU have agreed to 1 cabinet plus 1 MOS. But I want to look at the larger picture with Rahul Verma before I go to the spokespersons of TDP and Ajit Pawar NCP. Rahul Verma, the opposition's contention is this is more like a Modi 303 cabinet and a Modi 303 Council of Ministers. What then happens to the mandate? Clearly, there was a message from the Indian voter which reduced the BJP from 303 to 240. Through this composition of the Council of Ministers, where largely the big names have been retained, are you not heeding that message of why the BJP came down 60 seats?
So I think, sometimes even retention has its own sort of like message. See, it's very clear that BJP has lost 60 seats. And there are going to be all kinds of accommodation in the cabinet. The first signal is very clear. This time you had 72 people taking oath. In 2014, I think only 44 or 48 took. In 2019, only 56 took. This time 72 means that there are more number of faces that were needed to be accommodated on the very first day. Second, inclusion and exclusion both has all kinds of messages that any party which is trying to form the government will try to give. Zaka, you would remember that in the run-up to elections, before the results had come out, there were lots of talks who are the big names that are going to be dropped from the cabinet. And not being able to drop some of those names is also in some ways showing you the signs of why if BJP hadn't got 303, it has put some kind of pressures on Prime Minister Modi to be more accommodative. There's no doubt in my mind that there are going to be changes within the BJP, and you are seeing that President JP Nadda has been moved into the cabinet. Shivraj Singh Chouhan has been given two very key important portfolios. So yes, this is of course rewarding them for their abilities and performance. But all of these are also messages of basically accommodation in various ways, and you will keep that scene happening. And in a coalition government, what you are also going to see that the balance of power will keep tilting every 3 to 6 months. This is not a static tie-up that today some of the players have come with you and they are going to stick to you all 5 years. Every 3 to 6 months, depending upon where the government is heading, how the anchor party is performing in state assembly elections, will keep changing the balance of power, and you will see more and more demands and frictions coming up. But I don't want to see this that Prime Minister Modi didn't have an experience of running a coalition, so he would basically have a difficult time. Manmohan Singh never had an experience of running any government in that sense, but he ran two successive coalition governments. So I think we shouldn't think of leaders not being able to adapt to emerging situations. And Prime Minister, by like this sort of like cabinet, is showing that he's adapting to emerging situation.
In fact, very interestingly, almost all the allies, except perhaps one, seem to be happy with what they've got. The total number of allies who have got ministries are 11. Almost all of them have got cabinet. Mr. Kumaraswamy with 2 MPs is now the Steel and Heavy Industries Minister. Mr. Jitan Manjhi, lone MP from his party, he's the MSME Minister. Mr. Lalan Singh is the Panchayati Raj as well as Fisheries Minister. Almost all the allies, and I want to ask Mr. Brijmohan Srivastava this because you seem to be the only notable ally which is not part of this government, and you've publicly said so. Mr. Praful Patel has said that, we wanted cabinet, we were not offered cabinet. Isn't that a discordant note? The TDP is also happy, the JDU is also happy, other smaller allies are happy. Chirag Paswan with 5 MPs, as he himself is now a cabinet minister. Aren't you striking a discordant note, Mr. Srivastava? At the end of the day, you have 1 MP.
Actually, we are also satisfied because there is a promise given to us that when we will have our 2 more Rajya Sabha member, then they will give us birth in the cabinet as a cabinet minister to the Praful Patel Sahab. It's very clear. So we are also happy, and we are having no dissatisfaction with the present setup of the government. Honorable Prime Minister has taken us very seriously, and he has given all support to us also. So there is no dissatisfaction amongst my party or between the NDA partners. So let's say if people are saying this thing that we are unsatisfied or the Praful Patel has given very clearly. Because we are short of the member of parliament, therefore we have taken this decision and it is a policy matter. So we
No, what he said
stop.
was we were offered MOS independent charge, I
Yes,
think, but since he
very
had
correct.
already been a cabinet minister, that would be a downgrade, and therefore they're not taking it. You are the
No,
only
no.
alliance partner of the NDA which does not find a place in the Council of Ministers.
Very correct. Jakavi, our party has chosen name of Praful Patel Saab, and you know he worked in the government as a cabinet minister for more than 5 years, and he is very experienced person. So we requested Prime Minister that because just today we are having short of member of parliament, with next 2 months we are having more 2 Rajya Sabha member also.
Okay.
So then we will induct at that time, and he has promised us, he has given us a consent that yes, okay, when
You
you get
also
to
have
Rajya
a
Sabha
state
member,
election to fight in the next 3 months. We'll see how that goes. But Mr. Pattabhiram of the TDP, you know, every day we do this show since the results came and since you decided to go with the NDA, the Congress party, other India Alliance members have been constantly saying, oh, it's a matter of time, TDP will pull out. It's just a matter of time. They've just been given one cabinet and one MOS. But every time I speak to a TDP spokesperson, you all seem very happy.
Yeah, you can see me smiling. You can look at my face. You'll understand how happy we are. Today, even the portfolios which are given to us, Ministry of Civil Aviation to Shri Rammohan Naidu, it is the same portfolio which Shri Ashok Gajapati had handled before.
Yeah.
And also Mr. Pamasani Chandrasekhar, MOS, he has been allotted rural development and communication. So these are all key portfolios, and we're all extremely happy. I've been listening to Shama, who was speaking before. She seems to be very worried about TDP and the NDA alliance. Shama, we all know that you're from Kerala. Look at your own house in Kerala. What is happening between Mr. Vijayan and Mr. Rahul Gandhi? So try to set your house in order. Instead of preaching us on national media, try to set your house in order in Kerala first. No, that has become a big embarrassment for you. The kind of words that have been exchanged between Mr. Vijayan and Mr. Rahul Gandhi. So NDA is intact and it will remain intact. So don't worry about us. Worry about your own alliance, which is collapsing every single day. Aam Aadmi Party is out in Delhi. Mamta Didi is out in West Bengal. Kerala, you know, the kind of situation that is in. So your house is in complete disarray. So start looking at your own house. NDA is intact and the Modi ji will last his full 5-year term. We know how to, run a coalition. TDP, BJP have worked before. So stop worrying about us. We are all happy. And Zaka, I would like to also mention one thing. We are not behind any ministries and portfolios. Our prime agenda is the state of Andhra Pradesh, which had been completely ruined by the former Chief Minister Jagat Reddy. So we will exert our pressure on those issues which are related to the state, and we are confident that Shri Modi ji, will deliver all that is required for the state of Andhra Pradesh. So that will be our priority.
No, I spoke to Nara Lokesh last week and he said that, look, our support is unconditional. Even if we don't get a single ministry, we'll still go. What we need is funds for our state. What we need is grants and money for our state because we need to develop our state. So that's what he said. But Shama Mohammed, please respond to Mr. Pattabhiram.
Yeah.
He says you need to stop worrying about him and his party. They are fine.
No, I'm not worrying about his party. I was just stating facts, what happened in 2019, how they tried to break your party, how Mr. Naidu left the alliance because they were not given the special status. So these are facts. That's what. Now, let me explain to you about CPM and the Congress party. We are the principal opposition in Kerala. We never had an alliance in Kerala, and we will never have an alliance with the left in Kerala. And of course, we will speak to Pinarayi Vijayan. We'll give it back to him in his own way, his own medicine. We have already said that in the beginning, India Alliance is an alliance of more than 25 parties. And we have certain issues in certain states. One was Punjab, the other one was West Bengal, and the third was Kerala. So let's understand that very clearly, Zaka. And in that, there is no difference, no change, nothing. Let me also remind one more thing right now, that in this particular election, India Alliance won 43 in UP, whereas BJP won only 34. NDA, I would not say BJP, they won 34. And we also won Faizabad, where it's the constituency where Ayodhya is there. So let's understand that the victory this time it was for the India alliance, and it was against the NDA, and especially against Mr. Narendra Modi. Let's not. And one more thing to the BJP.
How is it against? They are at 293 or 292, and you're at 234.
I said it's against. You have to stop. You have to stop this Modi 3. That is the issue. It was not for Modi. It was a vote against Modi. Let's understand that.
No, how?
And also,
please explain to our viewers. One second, Dr. Shah, please explain to our viewers in lucid terms. If an alliance is sitting at 293 and that alliance has unanimously elected Mr. Modi as the leader of that alliance, the NDA, at 293, and you are at 234, how is the mandate against him?
See, look at the stage which they were set, where because of Ram Mandir, they would be gaining. I was told by their supporters and journalists pro-BJP that 72 aa jayenge, madam, wahan. Sure, I said, are you sure? Because this is not what the report we are getting. And they were just at 34. So, India alliance, yes, we had certain places there were issues, but they are dependent totally on TDP and JDU. And we all know what they did to the JDU also. So, we don't know if, I mean, I just want to, the TDP spokesperson is here, the speaker will be there soon. They will be buying all the members of parliament. You will see soon that there will be no TDP and there will be no JDU. So we are not worried about that. I'm just stating facts.
Has a Bihar connection as well, but Tuin Sinha, again, the Congress and India Alliance spokespeople every night on the show seem to be more worried about the JDU and the TDP than the BJP is, because of course your government survival depends on both of these folks and the respective party members and spokespersons from those parties themselves. But I think the larger message that people like Shama Mohammed are asking is simply this. Look at the biggest states in the country: Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu. Other than Bihar, in the top 5 big states in this country, the NDA is less than the India alliance. You've lost significant mandates, significant number of seats in these big states.
Zakaf, first of all, let Shama Mohammed and the Congress get this clear. It is Modi 3 led NDA 3. You know, they may have a pathological hatred for the Prime Minister. In fact, you know, their leaders have not even had the basic courtesy to congratulate Prime Minister when the world leaders are congratulated. But nothing can take away from the fact that it is Modi 3 led NDA 3, because like you mentioned, a mandate of 240 seats for the BJP and 293 for NDA. I mean, there is no issue with it. Secondly, you know, they keep asking what experience does Modi ji have of running a coalition government. Please don't barge in like this. Have the basic manners.
I'm asking a question.
You know, what experience? Have the basic manners. I did not speak.
One at a time.
Do I need to teach you manners on the show?
One at a time, yeah. Tuin, yeah. Stick to the
You know, what experience did Manmohan Singh with 145 seats have of running a coalition government? Manmohan Singh lost Lok Sabha elections. He could not even win a Lok Sabha elections. You know, if I were in the opposition, I would be really worried about having to spend the 3rd consecutive term in the opposition. You are asking us about our performance in specific states? Yes, that is a cause of concern, and BJP is a party which takes any setback very seriously, because we have a mechanism that factors in everything that went wrong and immediately enters the path of course correction. But there are at least 6 big states where Congress has drawn a 0. So I think, you know, they should worry about themselves rather than preaching us. You know, there is a thing called law of averages. It has caught up with the BJP, but you know, besides the limited push that the opposition has got this time, unless they worry about themselves, they'll be back in the pit again.
Okay, so law of averages has caught up with the BJP. Okay, one line and then I'll go to Rahul Verma after that, yes.
Zaka, just one point I want to say is that Rahul Gandhi stood from the north and the south. He had the guts and he won by nearly 4 lakh votes in Rai Bareli. Mr. Narendra Modi just won by 1.5 lakh votes. And if he stood in the south, he would have lost. He doesn't have the guts to stand from the south. And the other very important thing is you have
going to decide
that
by the victory margins?
Manipur is part of this country. Viren Singh's convoy was attacked. Manipur is part of this country. You have no interest in Manipur. And that's why Northeast showed you the door. This time, the Congress has done very well in the Northeast.
Okay,
they have shown you the door.
I do want to ask Rahul Verma. So, you know, whatever temporary dip or hit the Modi government and the Modi juggernaut may have taken because of the result, like I said, you know, not even BJP folks were expecting to come down from 303 to 240. But do you believe in the whole business of perception? He's managed to wrest back the initiative with A, how smoothly these coalition talks have happened and how quickly the new government has been formed and now portfolios have been allocated. It's like you know, the result day, 4th of June, was just a minor blip.
You're right, Jaka. At least in sort of like outside perception, which is being created, is that Prime Minister is in control of the situation. They quickly got their allies together. In fact, despite all kinds of rumors about that allies are going to put pressure on demand for different ministries, that turned out to be rumor. They have managed to retain the cabinet as of the previous time. Most of the important ministries are with the BJP. So in that sense, yes, it's as business as usual. But think from the perspective of Prime Minister himself. I don't think this business as usual is also in line with Prime Minister's style. Had BJP got 303, you would have seen a very different kind of cabinet. So, but what I'm also trying to see, leaders are adaptive to situations. A new situation emerges and they have to make changes. They are not adamant like you and me, right? They know what they need to do. From 303 to 240 basically changes three things dramatically. BJP's own internal functioning, and there are going to be more pressure points within the BJP. And so accommodation of many of them, you can call it a continuity, but in some ways that continuity itself basically symbolizes that now there are going to be more pressure points within the BJP. Two, it is going to change the equation within the BJP and RSS. And you'll see that happening. Three, it will change the equation between BJP and its allies. Between 2014 and 2024, BJP had an expansionist impulse which was very, very visible. Now, if it continues to do so, there are going to be cost of that. Earlier, there was no cost of that. So those things are going to definitely happen. And those changes in itself signals that while BJP is in command, it will have to make adaptations and changes. And that's how, why some leaders are more successful than others.
You have a great point, and I've got a breaking story that's coming up in just 1 second, which is illustrative of point number 2 that Rahul Verma was making. Thank you very much to all our guests. Rahul Verma was saying that, there are going to be pressure points within the BJP. There are going to be pressure points between the BJP and the RSS, and of course between the BJP and the allies. It's not going to be, while on the face of it, it seems like business as usual. These pressure points will come up from time to time. And already we are hearing from the RSS chief, Mohan Bhagwat. He's made a big statement. For the first time, he's commented on the situation in Manipur. He was speaking a short while back, and he said, and I quote, "It's been a year since Manipur has been waiting for peace. The state remained peaceful for the last 10 years, but suddenly the gun culture has increased again. It is important to resolve this conflict on a priority basis." So this is a big statement coming from Mohan Bhagwat for the first time speaking about the situation in Manipur. Remember, the opposition had made the Manipur issue a top priority for them. One of the sessions of parliament was almost washed out because of that. The Prime Minister was forced to come to the House and clarify and give a speech. He, of course, turned it around back on the opposition. And today, the results in Manipur, both the outer Manipur and inner Manipur seats, the BJP has lost. So this, beyond just the political, this will add moral pressure on the BJP. This will also add, like I said, if this is coming from the parent ship, as Rahul Verma was saying a moment ago, if this pain point is coming from the parent ship, then this will put pressure on the Modi government. Payal Mehta is now joining us on the phone line. Very quickly, is there any context or reason why Mohan Bhagwat has made this comment on Manipur now, 5 days after the election result, or 6 days after the election result?
It's very interesting because, I'm sure that the government of the day wouldn't really like the comment that Mr. Bhagwat has really made, because the Home Ministry, the External Affairs Ministry, also the Ministry of the Prime Minister's Office, all of them are making enough efforts, Dhaka, to actually restore peace in the region. But sporadic violence has been witnessed. In fact, Mr. Biren Singh's advance convoy was also attacked this morning, and you saw his security personnel getting injured. But the Prime Minister spoke at length, and he said he did not agree with the route of violence. He did not agree with the videos that were doing the rounds of a woman being paraded nude as well. the Prime Minister called out anything to do with violence. He spoke extensively for about an hour or plus, in the Parliament session. But this coming in from Mohan Bhagwat is probably more of a matter of fact, because anybody who understands the Northeast region will tell you that anytime that Manipur and regions like that do see violence, it has a far-reaching impact. So obviously Mohan Bhagwat over here is saying that there is need to restore peace, and I'm sure the government of the day will tell him that every effort is being made to make sure that peace is restored. We also recently saw a successful election to the 2 Lok Sabha seats in Manipur as well, without any violence being witnessed.
All right, Payal, just stay on with us. I want to play out that bite, and I want to focus on something larger, which Rahul Verma was also referring to a moment ago. Very quickly, let's play out that soundbite of Mohan Bhagwat. Like I said, this is the first time he's speaking about Manipur, and then what the implications of this might be. We'll just quickly discuss with Payal right after this soundbite.
जगह जगह और समाज में कलह ये नहीं चलता। अब 1 साल से मणिपुर शांति की राह देख रहा है। उसके पहले 10 साल शांत रहा। पुराना गन कल्चर समाप्त हो गया ऐसा लगा, और अचानक जो कलह वहां पर उपज गया या उपजाया गया, उसकी आग में अभी तक जल रहा है, त्राही त्राही कर रहा है। कौन उस पर ध्यान देगा? प्राथमिकता देके उसका विचार करना ये कर्तव्य है।
So, Payal, Rahul Verma a little while ago was saying that because this is a 240 mandate and not a 303 mandate, you will see some pressure points between the RSS and the BJP. He was saying it could be in the form of, some people that they're backing to be part of the cabinet. It could be in the form of statements like what Mr. Bhagwat has just made. Do you see that in that overall context, or is this just limited to a one-off comment?
It's just a one-off comment, Zaka, I would agree, because there seems to be no difference between the RSS and the BJP. And if you look at the RSS history, if they have to make any mention of anything which is, of course, a point of conflict, they do it directly with the BJP leadership. They do not go out on the public and speaking. But here what Mr. Bhagwat is saying, that, if you have disturbances within various regions of the country, it's not a situation which is very, very good for the country. He says that every effort needs to be made to restore peace as well. Kala nahi chalega, that's what he said. And gun culture is restored. Has come back again. That is also something which is expressing, and he's saying that it is a duty of the sitting government, it is a duty of the establishment to make sure that peace is restored. So, one should not read it as a war of words between the RSS and the BJP. I'm sure they are on the same page, because both of them are often seen together speaking about the issue of national security, and there's no do mat about that, as they say in Hindi.
Okay, we'll leave it at that, Payal Mehta. Thanks for joining us with your thoughts and perspective. This is an important story, no doubt about it, not least of all for the fact that who the person is who said it, and B, the fact that he said it for the very first time. Manipur, of course, has been in a state of flux for some months now. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, a deadly terror attack taking place in Raisi in Jammu, and that too just hours before the new government of Mr. Modi 3.0 was to take the oath of office. What may the signal be? Now, an offshoot of the Lashkar has taken responsibility for it. Once again, is Pakistan trying to fish in troubled waters? We'll try and analyze that. And what should India's response be to this right on the other side of this quick break.
Send a social media message and you get a reward back. I have tried myself and as a citizen, and I got a reply back. So this is the difference now. And then yes, PMO also need to keep a complete view of the complete situation, all ministries put together, so that the country moves in the right direction and in the direction which Prime Minister wants it to lead.
Well, Northeast Minister, interesting one, Dr. Ranganathan, Scindia getting that, and Manipur and certain other areas, sensitive, isn't it, this time?
Yes, and if I may, you have a new information communication minister. I think somebody has to kind of tell Mr. Modi or advise him that there are things that he must do instantly. Like, for example, we've talked about he should have gone to Manipur. Likewise, he should have commented on the deadly attack yesterday in Jammu. He still hasn't.
Well, this is important, viewers. Look, Mr. Amit Shah back as Home Affairs, the Minister of Cooperation. So at the at the interstices really of building and weaving together disparate parts of India. But very importantly, yes, RP Singh, you know, look, I have to say
very
that
small political comment on what has happened in Riyasi is very dreadful. And
no,
then,
I actually, hang on. We have about 2 minutes. Dr. Ranganathan, why don't you hold forth on that point? You wanted to make something on Riyasi very quickly before we move on. Yeah.
It's just heartbreaking, Rahul, to be honest. But, you know, Riyasi is not Rafah. And so there will be no eyes on it. Our children are not Gazans, and so their dead cherubic faces will not shake the world's conscience. Terrorism has no religion, and so no one will be blamed. Islamic terrorists fired at the bus. The bus fell into a gorge. The Islamists climbed down and fired at the bus wreck, at the helpless, injured Hindu pilgrims, women and children. Such cold-blooded murder, Rahul, is only possible when it is backed by religious doctrine that demands extermination of non-Muslims. Rahul, when will we understand the machinations of the Universal Brotherhood? These are desperate, dastardly plans hatched by the enemy state of Pakistan and aided and abetted, as some are saying in the police force, by some in India. Or as I've said previously, the snakes and ladders game, where the snakes are provided by Pakistan and ladders by India. But do we expect anything else in a state where the leaders of National Conference and PDP condole the killing of terrorists like Wani? Fact is that after Modi government abrogated Article 370, these terror apologists have been itching to foment trouble, even asking China to intervene. Since the abrogation, there has been an 87% decline in stone pelting incidents, 54% decline in terror incidents, 40% decline in youth joining terror organizations, but 48% increase in ceasefire violations by Pakistan. These guys are desperate. The heartbreaking image of Tutu, a 2-year-old child wrapped in a body bag, will be forgotten soon, Rahul, as was that heartbreaking image of a...
Welcome back to Brass Tacks. A deadly terror attack took place in Jammu's Riyasi just hours before the new government of Modi 3.0 was to take oath. On Sunday night, terrorists struck in Riyasi in the relatively peaceful Jammu region. This attack took place on a bus which was carrying pilgrims from the Shiv Khori temple who were then headed to Katra. Because of the attack, the bus driver lost control of the bus and the bus then fell into a deep gorge. The pilgrims in the bus included children as well as women. The Resistance Front, or the TRF, which is an offshoot of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, has claimed responsibility for the attack. TRF has also vowed to continue attacks on non-locals in Jammu and Kashmir. Security forces have launched search operations to hunt down the terrorists. Prime Minister Modi took stock of the situation and vowed to punish the culprits. The opposition's also hit out at the government and its claims of normalcy and peace in the valley after the abrogation of Article 370. It has sounded alarm bells for the security agencies as the Union Territory is now headed for polls as well. They have to finish the polls there before the 30th of September. So now it seems like the onus of the terror or the epicenter of the terror is moving away from Srinagar and other parts of Kashmir and moving into the Rajouri-Poonch area. So the big question is, it's clear that this was orchestrated at the behest of Pakistan, and that too, the timing of it, timed to the swearing in of the Narendra Modi government 3.0. How should India respond? Today, of course, there was an exchange, a Twitter exchange between both Shahbaz Sharif and Nawaz Sharif. They congratulated the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister also responded to that on the platform X. But how should India respond to this terror attack? G. Parthasarathy is former Indian High Commissioner to Pakistan. Mr. S.P. Vaid is former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir. Let me start with Mr. Vaid, because Mr. Vaid, it was said that, you know, after 370, the number of terror incidents has come down, and there are absolute numbers to show that. But yesterday's attack, it's clear to me that it was timed with the oath-taking of the Prime Minister. It was timed to disrupt and send out a negative message. How should India look at yesterday's attack? And now that TRF has claimed responsibility, and we know what the antecedents of TRF are, how should India look at yesterday's attack, particularly in the context of this new government, a government which may have wanted to start on a fresh page with Pakistan, but clearly after yesterday, do you see that happening?
Good evening, Zaka. What you said is, I absolutely agree. This is time to the swearing-in ceremony of the Honorable Prime Minister with his new cabinet for the third time. And the message is very, very clear. They wanted to send a clear message to the new government that we can strike at will wherever we want, and you need to listen, because if you see, Pakistan is the only country which India did not invite, and I was watching on the Pakistan channels how much they were bugged up about this issue, that we have not been called. Every other neighbor has been called for the swearing in, and I think that there were clear directions from the deep state of Pakistan to their cronies, terrorists operating in the Rajouri Punch area, which is just adjoining to Riyasi district, where this incident, exactly the place is Triat, where it has happened, where Shiv Kodi shrine is located. That is the message which this incident has sent. And it in fact, the new government starts with a negative note of whatever impact it will have on the relations of India and Pakistan.
Ambassador Parthasarathy, Mr. Vaid is absolutely right. There was this familiar call from a certain ecosystem yesterday saying, except Pakistan, all the other neighbors have been called, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, even with Maldives, with whom we've not had great relations in the last few months. Even the president of Maldives was invited, but Pakistan was not invited. But, how do you invite Pakistan, especially after what happened yesterday? This is exactly what a lot of people, including you, have been arguing, that until this terror tap is switched off, and we're not seeing any evidence of that given what happened yesterday, why should Pakistan be invited?
Well, that's a very good question and a very relevant one. Look over. You have to look over developments in Pakistan over the past 6 months or so. Firstly, you have an appointment of a new army chief, Asim Munir, who, unlike his predecessor, General Bajwa, who realized the consequences of enhanced terrorism on India, this man is a loose cannon. From everything he has said, from everything one knows, and from the way, in fact, he's treating civilians as though it is under military rule in Pakistan itself. So you have Pakistan with a military chief on the warpath. And I've always maintained Asim Munir is bad news. And therefore, he would be more than happy if he does this. And I wouldn't be surprised. You have a weak government headed by a person whom I know personally, Shehbaz Sharif, who is more rational and sort of balanced than most people I've known in Islamabad. So obviously this has a military hand, and Asim Munir is centering it, because it's the line he pushes. It's the line he wants to keep the army center stage.
But so, how should then India respond? We've seen both Nawaz Sharif and Shehbaz Sharif congratulate the Prime Minister today on Twitter, and the Prime Minister has responded there as well. Like you said, of all the various civilian regimes we've seen in the past, perhaps the Sharifs were the ones that India perhaps had the most hope from in terms of, bettering the bilateral relationship. So how should India respond given what happened yesterday?
First thing, I wouldn't trust both the Sharif brothers. Don't forget the elder brother started off the Kargil conflict. It's the younger brother who's a technology man who, when I spoke to him last in Lahore, all he was interested in doing is sending a delegation to India, to Bangalore, to study information technology there. So I don't think the Prime Minister has a hand. His brother will be ambivalent, though outside he will swear friendship. And therefore you're into a peculiar situation. My answer is, I've been very clear about this. We should have retribution if this continues at a time and place of our choice.
So the retribution part, Mr. Vaid, of course, when you have a government at 303, politically it's easier to execute something like that, but a government at 240, and there are other pressures as well. It's not just Jammu and Kashmir. There are pressures that we're seeing in Punjab as well. How does the government's response change by nature of the difference in the mandate?
Zaka, I completely agree with Mr. Parthasarathy. Ultimately, India need to take action on 3-4 fronts. Number one, clean up your own backyard. And I think we need to address what is happening in Rajouri Poonch for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We have seen so many attacks. Maybe you need to induct more troops. Maybe you need to have a coordinated, unified command working, improve your intelligence, involve local people, village defense committees, all technology part, everything, drones, whatever you can do. See that this area, it does not spread to other further more areas of Jammu region. So I think so far from it was restricted to Poonch, then it came to Rajouri, and now Riyasi. My worry is there is Vaishno Devi ahead of this area.
Correct.
And then where lakhs of even more than crore people come for darshan. Then you have assembly election coming up, the Amarnath Yatra. So all these things make it very, very sensitive, and we need to take care of that. Number two, I think maybe the point Mr. Parthasarathy said, that Government of India will have at an appropriate time think of the action. Maybe what government has come with a less majority this time, but what we know of Mr. Modi, he is a man of action and a strong leader, and I don't think this coalition government will have any effect on him. I think when it is a matter of nation, everyone will be standing with him, and we must take action at a make it very heavy for the Pakistan army to venture like this.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Mr. Vaid, Mr. Parthasarathy, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see what the government's response will be to this, as Mr. Parthasarathy said, at a time and place of its choosing. But it's clear the message from the Pakistani side, that too on the day that Mr. Modi's government was being sworn in, to have an attack of this nature is a deliberate and needless provocation. Let's see what the Indian side's response will be. That's a wrap from me, Zaka Jacob. If you want to know who's made it to the Modi cabinet and what portfolio each of them have got, go to our website, news18.com. From me and the team, thank you very much for tuning in. You are tuned in to Brass Tacks, coming to you live from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
Presented by
boy squatting on his dead grandfather. So I don't know what the solution is, to be honest.
Well, we're all looking for that, viewers. Certainly, let not anyone tell you this kind of hate and bigotry can be tackled by a political package. Let me tell you, viewers, that's not possible. What I'm really finding extremely interesting is that on some of those, Dr. Ranganathan, and let me also bring in RP Singh as well as Mr. Chaudhary on this. Dr. Ranganathan, you know, the 3 or 4 key portfolios that require some attention, which is urban affairs and housing. Remember, the PM Awas Yojana, one of the big decisions taken in the cabinet meeting today was to expedite that program. And of course, job creation. So micro and medium enterprises goes to Ram Manjhi. Manohar Khattar gets the housing portfolio. And of course, dealing with the farmers, all those restful farmers who have shown up periodically from Haryana and Punjab, to lay siege to Delhi, that goes to Shivraj Singh Chouhan. How do you see this?
I think we've known for the last 10 years, increasingly so in fact, in the last 3 or 4 years, that the biggest, most important decisions are taken by Mr. Modi. And then the small micromanagement or machinations are taken over by the Council of Ministers. So for example, the biggest decision as far as agriculture was concerned were the farm reforms. They were taken by Mr. Modi. I doubt whether those 3 farm reforms in the same form would come again in the tenure of Mr. Chouhan. But I think it is also to be said that because it's got very close to a comfortable majority and it's going to run hopefully a stable government for the next 5 years, the Prime Minister has chosen for, what can you call it, not a shock and awe or not a change, but to remain with the same team that has won him at least this third term.
Well, let me bring in RP Singh. RP Singh, I think Dr. Ranganathan is right because the Prime Minister was emphasizing the role of the PMO. He spoke to PMO staff and he says, we want to make this a people's PMO. And that underlines the significance. You see, it's at the fulcrum, isn't it, of the government?
Well, two parts to this. One is that, yes, is a fulcrum to the functioning of the complete government and then ensures that it is grounded and has a hand on the pulse also. But also, let me tell you a very astonishing thing. I mean, you just mark a tweet on to PMO and you get a revert back. This is the first time it's happening in the country. You send a message, you send a social media message, and you get a revert back. I have tried myself and as a citizen, and I got a reply back. So this is the difference now. And then yes, PMO also need to keep a complete view of the complete situation, all ministries put together so that the country moves in the right direction and in the direction which Prime Minister wants it to lead.
Well, Northeast Minister, interesting one, Dr. Ranganathan, Sindhya getting that, and Manipur and certain other areas, sensitive, isn't it, this time?
Yes, and if I may, you have a new information communication minister. I think somebody has to kind of tell Mr. Modi or advise him that there are things. Instantly. Like, for example, we've talked about he should have gone to Manipur. Likewise, he should have commented on the deadly attack yesterday in Jammu. He still hasn't.
Well, this is important, viewers. Look, Mr. Amit Shah back as Home Affairs, the Minister of Cooperation. So at the interstices really of building and weaving together disparate parts of India. But very importantly, yes, RP Singh, look, I have to say
very
that
small political comment on what has happened in Riyasi is very dreadful. And
no, I actually, hang on. We have about 2 minutes. Dr. Ranganathan, why don't you hold forth on that point? You wanted to make something on Riyasi very quickly before we move on. Yeah.
It's just heartbreaking, Rahul, to be honest. But, Riyasi is not Rafah. And so there will be no eyes on it. Our children are not Gazans, and so their dead cherubic faces will not shake the world's conscience. Terrorism has no religion, and so no one will be blamed. Islamic terrorists fired at the bus. The bus fell into a gorge. The Islamists climbed down and fired at the bus wreck, at the helpless, injured Hindu pilgrims, women and children. Such cold-blooded murder, Rahul, is only possible when it is backed by religious doctrine that demands extermination of non-Muslims. Rahul, when will we understand the machinations of the Universal Brotherhood? These are desperate, dastardly plans hatched by the enemy state of Pakistan and aided and abetted, as some are saying in the police force, by some in India. Or as I've said previously, the snakes and ladders game, where the snakes are provided by Pakistan and ladders by India. But do we expect anything else in a state where the leaders of National Conference and PDP condole the killing of terrorists like Wani? Fact is that after Modi government abrogated Article 370, these terror apologists have been itching to foment trouble, even asking China to intervene. Since the abrogation, there has been an 87% decline in stone pelting incidents, 54% decline in terror incidents, 40% decline in youth joining terror organizations, but 48% increase in ceasefire violations by Pakistan. These guys are desperate. The heartbreaking image of Tutu, a 2-year-old child wrapped in a body bag, will be forgotten soon, Rahul, as was that heartbreaking image of a 3-year-old Sopore boy squatting on his dead grandfather. So I don't know what the solution is, to be honest.
Well, we're all looking for that, viewers. Certainly, let not anyone tell you this kind of hate and bigotry can be tackled by a political package. Let me tell you, viewers, that...
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Day one of Prime Minister Modi's third term, and he packed in a lot. He allocated portfolios to the ministers who took oath yesterday. We'll tell you who got what. Also had a message for his team and made an outreach to the leaders from the neighborhood who were in New Delhi for his oath-taking ceremony. We'll get you an interview with the Prime Minister of Bhutan. Meanwhile, in Europe, Giorgia Meloni has emerged as the big winner of the European election.